Hello, Giannis. Thank you so much for joining me on the World Vegan Travel Podcast.
Hi, Bridie. Thank you for having me.
I am thrilled to have you on to talk about the Greek island of Rhodes today. This is going to be such a wonderful complement to our other podcast episodes that we have on Santorini and Mykonos as well. Of course, each Greek island has its own sort of personality, and I'm excited to learn more about this place. But before we do, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do in the vegan travel space?
Right. First of all, thank you for having me in your podcast. I've watched a few episodes and I have to say it's really interesting content.
Oh.
So basically, we recently opened the first exclusive vegan hotel in the island of Rhodes. We are a small family run business and we are trying to bring this concept of veganism and eco-friendly holidays here in Rhodes. Our guests can experience Greek hospitality, but at the same time balance it with sustainability, the eco-friendly, and veganism, of course. We opened our hotel last May, and I have to admit it's been a great journey so far. We have really nice feedback, and I look forward to what the future will bring.
Why did you decide to open this hotel, just a 100% vegan hotel? I'm guessing that you are vegan or at least vegan curious. What made you decide to do that? Because there is an element of risk there, I guess.
That's a question I've been asked a lot, to be honest. As I said, the hotel used to belong to my parents, but then my dad recently retired. He said to me, just to say here, I used to live in England, in Europe, for 10 years. So my dad said to me, what do you want to do with the hotel now that I'm retiring? I said, look, I'll come back and try something new. We do have this concept of massive tourism here in Greece with a lot of all-inclusive hotels. Don't get me wrong, they are great. I'm not saying they shouldn't exist or something like this, but I wanted to create something unique where we respect not only the animals, but also the environment. So yes, as you said, having lived abroad, I came in touch with veganism and I wanted to bring this concept back to Rhodes. It's an interesting journey, step by step. There are lots of things that we haven't considered before and we learn along the journey. But yeah, it's really nice to see how our guests are open-minded, and even if they have any extra requirements or something special to ask, always with a smile, you can solve every single problem.
I love it. How did your family react when you said you wanted to open a vegan hotel? Because if they're not vegan, I'm sure they were a little skeptical.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it was a successful small hotel, like most of places around here. When I said to my parents, look, I want to start something from scratch. And as you said, it's a risk that I took. Vegans are all around the world, but it is a small market at the same time. You don't have this massive market that you can aim for. So when I say I want to do this, their first question was, are you sure you want to put all your savings in renovating the hotel and do this? At the same time, they were very supportive because all our food is homemade. My grandma, who is like 93, makes most of the food around here. And I call her vegan by accident because in all her life, she is vegan. Most of the Greek food is vegan. People, they don't know it, but most of the Greek recipes, the traditional ones, they are vegan. What we are trying to do here is to promote exactly this concept of Greek traditional food. I'm sure there are really nice vegan restaurants. You can have fusion cuisine or gourmet things. But I think our guests also like this concept of family homemade food that we as Greeks have in my house.
Mm. I love Greek food, so I'm sure the food is amazing. Now, if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about what the hotel is like. Is it a small hotel, big hotel? What's the vibe? Where is it located? Or is it luxury or kind of a
Right.
little bit more comfortable? Tell me more about that.
Right. It's based in Ialissos of Rhodes. Ialissos basically was one of the three ancient cities of Rhodes. It's somewhere in between the airport of Rhodes and Rhodes town, like 10 minutes from Rhodes town, so not that far away. We are a small hotel. We have up to 14 rooms with a nice pool and a nice snack bar restaurant around the pool. I've been to places where the waiters and all the staff going around quickly and they are trying to serve. I respect that, but I also want like our guests to understand that we run the hotel as a family. We'll do our best, but if you don't have your drink in within seconds and you have it in a minute or two, it's absolutely fine. Obviously, we are trying our best. We are not a five-star hotel, but at the same time, I think our service and our hospitality makes them feeling like they are in a five-star hotel. Sometimes you don't have the stars on paper, but it's better if you have the stars on the faces of your guests.
So you have 14 rooms, you have a pool. I'm sure that is very important in Greece. And you mentioned you have like a snack bar. Is that open for dinner as well? And what other kinds of facilities do you have?
That's correct. So we do serve breakfast and dinner. We also have some light snacks. Not only our guests, but also we do have lots of requests from external visitors to come and dine with us. So we have a few light snacks with a Greek touch again. Basically, every day the menu for dinner is preset. So it's a four-course meal, for example. Our guests will have it around the pool that absolutely love it.
Your hotel sounds like a lovely spot to head to in its own right. But my question is, why would people want to come to Rhodes? And I guess that brings us on to the topic of the podcast. What is it about Rhodes that is so interesting? Before we do that, though, could you explain a little bit about how you get to Rhodes? By the sounds of it, there's an airport. Does it have international flights? Can people take ferries? If they can, from where? I just want to give people a sense of the
Yeah.
geography and the transportation to get
Uh,
there.
Absolutely. So Rhodes has the third or fourth biggest airport in Greece, and I guess it could be the second busiest during summertime because we do welcome a lot of tourists every year. We have direct flights to, I want to say, all major European cities. If you come from overseas, like States, Canada, now there are almost everyday flights to Athens. Then from Athens, which is capital of Greece, the flight to Rhodes is like 40 minutes. So not a big deal. You can also get the boat. As you said, the trip from Athens will be a day, though. It's a long journey because they will stop in every single little island in between Athens and Rhodes. So I think the best way to come is by airplane. And why to visit Rhodes? Not because I come from Rhodes, but Rhodes is amazing. It's a big island that combines a lot of things. So we do have a lot of history because Rhodes is on crossroads between Europe, Africa, and Asia. We did have influence from a lot of different cultures. We have an amazing medieval city, which is a World Heritage Monument. It's protected under UNESCO. We have nature. Like we have the Butterfly Valley. We have really nice villages like Lindos, which is a big attraction for Rhodes. Obviously have really nice beaches where people would love to go and swim in our crystal waters. So different reasons, but I think the main selling point, if you like, for Rhodes is that we constantly evolve. Now we have a plan as an island to become the first sustainable island when it comes to tourism. So that means whatever the whole industry of tourism produces, it won't create any footprint on the local nature or environment. I think this is the future. And if you like, what we are trying to do here with our hotel, we contribute toward this goal.
That's a really interesting initiative by the authorities there. That's really cool. Do you happen to know of the other things that they're doing, as well as hopefully supporting hotels like yours?
Yeah, I think it's a 10 years plan where they will give not only funding, but also like opportunities to advertise your business or like how you can make a plan so you can manage the rubbish and all the things that you produce in the hotel. But this is not only limited in waste management and carbon footprint, but it's also part of the experience that our guests will have here. they have plans so the tourists, they don't sit just around the pool, which is amazing. I would do that. But there are so many things that you can experience here in Greece, like go and produce your own wine or see how we make our local dessert or go out and grab some fresh lemons and then make lemonade. I think the future of tourism is the experience rather than just holidays, if you like.
Yeah, I agree. That's usually what people love about the trips they come on with us is just all of the activities and the things that you see and the people that you interact with is often the highlight rather than just relaxing. So, of course, Greek beaches have got a big reputation. What are the beaches like in Rhodes and which is your favorite?
Right. So, as a big island, we have different options, and I think this is what people like. Some beaches are rocky, so there are big or smaller rocks. We have sand. So, you will go to a beach and you will never find a single stone or rock. It's just pure gold sand. Here in Rhodes, we have a joke like, are you a rocky type or are you a sand type of person? Personally, I love St. Paul's Bay, which is close to Lindos, because it has an amazing view to the Acropolis of Lindos. And believe me, the water is crystal clear. You can see the bottom of the sea even from right above. So it's amazing.
Wow, that does sound really lovely. You also mentioned that Rhodes Old Town, the city, is like the capital. Could you talk a little bit about what that like? How big is it? How many people? Is it like a bustling metropolis? What could people expect when they go to the city?
Right. So it's not a city like the big cities in Europe, States, or in Canada. At the same time, Rhodes is the fourth biggest island of Greece, I think, because we have been welcoming tourists from almost 1970. The infrastructure here is a lot more developed than other big cities, Greek cities of mainland, if you like. Having said that, the permanent population of Rhodes is around 120,000 people, and that's the whole island. In the city of Rhodes, which is at the tip of the island, at the very top, we are about 70,000. But imagine that our population almost doubles in summer because we welcome the people all around the world. It's a lovely place. What I really like is that within 5 minutes, you can go and have a nice swim. I think we have this privilege here compared to other big islands of Greece that within the city, we have really nice beaches that someone can go and enjoy a swim, especially when it's very hot. So imagine like you have a stressful day at work, it's really warm in Greece, and then as soon as you finish work, you go straight to the sea.
I love that. Something that I remember from my other conversations with my other guests when we talked about Greek islands is just how full of history they are as well. And I don't think that there are many kind of beach destinations that have so much cultural heritage and history as well. So is Rhodes like, and could you tell us a little bit about this history and how people might learn about it?
Yeah, Rhodes is full of history. We are maybe the only one or top three islands in Mediterranean Sea that we have so much history. We had Maltese Knights where they built the castle and the medieval city, the old town of Rhodes. Then we had their people conquering and bringing their own culture. Back in ancient times, for example, we had the Colossus of Rhodes, which was one of the seven wonders of ancient times. Then we had the pirates. When you walk, especially in Old Town, every single alley has a different story to say because you can see even in the architecture the influence from the different cultures. This is what we are trying to promote here as a destination, that you don't come to Rhodes just for the sea, which is amazing, or the sun, which is beautiful, but you can stroll around and learn a lot about the Greek history altogether.
You mentioned something about the Valley of Butterflies. Could you talk a little bit about that? It seems so interesting.
That's correct. It's a very famous, popular, and busy attraction in the middle of the island. So it's a really nice park, I would say, protected. It's like a forest with nice small rivers and streams. Between beginning of July, end of August, we have thousands of butterflies that have inhabit this place. A species of this butterfly only grows in this forest, so it has a very characteristic brown color. When they open their wings, they have a nice red color underneath, and it's very beautiful. I think one of the highlights when you go there is they will cover the whole tree. When they start moving their wings, you think that the tree is moving. It's amazing to watch it. And I only hope you can imagine how it is, but if you don't experience, you can't really understand.
I have seen some wonderful footage of the migrating monarch butterflies, and they spend some time in the rainforest in Mexico somewhere. I've seen footage from that. So I'm guessing it's a little bit similar, but it's really quite incredible. And I have the website for the place up, and these are really interesting, even shaped butterflies. They're quite unique.
Absolutely. They have a very characteristic shape and color. And it's not
Mm.
just the butterfly itself, it's the whole environment and microclimate there that you feel you are not in an island. Because most people, when they think about Greek islands, they think nice, small white houses or the sea and the sun. So imagine if you go to a place and visit a valley like this. To be honest, we are trying our best to protect this place because, as you can imagine, wildfires in summer with the climate change, it becomes more and more difficult. But I think we are doing a great job. And we had some incidences the past few years because the locals love this place so much. I think we are doing our best.
Fingers crossed that it can stay the same as it always has been. That's something I'm curious about. What is the geography of Rhodes? For example, when I spoke with the lovely folks at GOJI Hotel, who is in, I think, Mykonos, they said that it's a very dry island and quite windy. You're talking about how there's like this forest there with this lovely valley. So I'm just curious about the geography of the area.
Yeah, where Mykonos, Santorini, and these islands belong to. It's true that they are very dry islands. But here in Rhodes, I don't want to say a lot, but we do have a few forests that change the microclimate a bit. As I said, we are trying to protect them. It's hard during summertime. This breeze that you mentioned, the nice wind, I think it's something very characteristic of the Greek islands because it might be very warm during summertime, but always after 7, 8 o'clock at night, this nice breeze will cool you down. Altogether, I think Rhodes is quite green island compared to the Greek islands. So it's not only Butterfly Valley, for example, we have another place called Seven Springs. We call it Natura place. Again, a protected, a small forest where, as you can imagine, it has seven springs. That's why we named it like this. There are small spots of green places around the island that make the environment here quite unique and chilling.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the website for the Seven Spring. It just looks absolutely gorgeous there too. I'm so surprised that there is these beautiful green lush trees. That's really different to what I was expecting. Question that I had is, how do most people who come to Rhodes get around? Like, is the public transport really good? Do people hire a scooter or a car? Or tell me about that. Because I think sometimes people worry a little bit about how they're going to get around, particularly if they're going to stay in a hotel that's maybe not right on the beach or in
Yeah,
town.
yeah. Absolutely. Rhodes offers all sorts of options. Because we are a big island, we do have highways and really big roads. You can go around by public transport, by bus, and it's quite easy. In summertime, because we have a lot of guests around here, it could be a bit busier than someone would expect. On the other hand, it's easy to drive as well because we do have good roads. Personally, I do have a scooter, but if you don't know the area and the driving behavior as well, or you are not really familiar with the place, I wouldn't advise for a scooter because, again, we are a big island and sometimes people think, oh, I'll rent a scooter and I can go everywhere. But they forget we do have mountains. We have like uphill, downhill. To be honest, like renting a car, especially if you have planned it for a while, like well ahead, it's not that expensive. So I think either you choose the bus or renting a car or a scooter, it's easy.
Yeah, I think it's good to advise people against hiring a scooter. I have seen many people just try to drive a scooter in an unknown place when they've never even driven a scooter before. Of course, you'll probably be fine, but I think the odds of something bad happening much increased if you don't know how to drive a scooter well and if you don't know the local conditions. So yeah, I would agree. Hire a car or even better, use public transportation.
Exactly. Better safe than sorry.
Yes. Of course, Rhodes sounds like it's a great place for cultural exploration and relaxing. But those that want to do a bit of exercise, maybe do something a little bit more active, whether it's just a little bit or a lot.
I don't want to say perfect place for it, but we offer lots of options, activities where you can see like yoga classes, either in the hotel or by the beach. We do offer hiking because Rhodes has mountains, and we do have nice paths where someone can stroll around and explore the nature. But please be advised, use a local guide. Don't try to do it by yourself, because we did have some examples where people were lost. On the other hand, as we have this wind here, this breeze, people can enjoy water sports like windsurfing, kite surfing. There are even classes for beginners. Rhodes is famous for the green island. At the bottom of Rhodes, there is a tiny islet. In summer, there is a road that connects the main island of Rhodes with this green island. Whereas in winter, when the sea will go up, there is no road, and this becomes an independent small island. So this place is really famous for windsurfing. We have different activities. We have organized gyms if someone would like to hit the gym. We offer all the options that can fit your own desires.
So, another question I have is when are some really good times to come to Rhodes, and maybe what are some times to avoid? For example, there are some really interesting festivals that could be good to try to, and maybe there is some times where it's just too crazy in the height of summer, or maybe things close down in winter time. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the summer season here lasts about 6 months. So it's like from April to beginning of November. And we are lucky enough because the weather here, it's amazing throughout these months. So other Greek islands, every now and then, especially in September, October, when the autumn begins, they will have some rainfall. Whereas here in Rhodes, I think a year ago, people used to go to the beach until beginning of December. So it was almost Christmas time. We felt like being in Australia where they celebrate on the beach. Personally, it depends again on what you want. If you want to come and experience Rhodes with a bit cooler weather, temperatures around like 20 Celsius, come around beginning of May or September, October, or even June. Obviously, in July and August, it's very warm. But there are people, they say, we spend cold winters in Northern Europe, so we want to visit a place and be absolutely hot. Again, because we are a big island with lots of hotels and places to visit and see, I don't think you will ever feel overwhelmed in terms of how many people there are around. The most touristic attractions, it might be a bit busy, but I don't think you feel there are so many people around me. I don't like it here. In terms of festivals, here in Greece, we are Christian Orthodox, if you like religion. We celebrate some name days of the local saints. So every now and then there will be a festival in a small village of Rhodes where the local church will celebrate. It's quite nice. I should warn you here that the vegan options, they are a bit limited in these kind of festivals. But as an experience and as a Greek tradition, I think it's something really nice to watch when you visit.
Of course. And what can people expect if they go and watch them, like processions in the streets, that kind of thing?
Yeah, there are local dances, or there will be some local treats like desserts or local food. They are specialized in this village. There might be a small ceremony in the church, but mainly it includes a lot of food and drinks. At the end of the night, it will be all people dancing around the main square of the village. These very typical pictures and images of Greece that I'm sure people have seen before.
It sounds absolutely lovely. And I'm curious about the winter time. Do all of the hotels and restaurants close during December, January, February, March? And is your hotel closed during that time?
Yes. So I think Rhodes is a completely different island during winter time because as you imagine, like most of the hotels and restaurants are closed. We here at GOJI, we do have demand and we have some requests for winter time, but winters here, we do have storms. They might not last very long. It might be just half an hour, but it could be like a tornado. So it's not very pleasant. At the same time, even though we are trying to extend the touristic season, the small family run hotels, they do need some time off just to recharge because it's a 24/7 job. So I think 3 months in winter, we do need some time. This is what most people here in Rhodes will do, but it's also very beautiful to see and experience Rhodes when the big hotels, the bars, and the restaurants are closed because you can appreciate the small things that maybe you miss when the whole island is buzzing. It's different but beautiful.
Apart from your snack bar restaurant at your hotel, are vegans going to starve to death or are they going to find some fun options?
Right. That's a very interesting question. We have a lot here in our hotel. There are a few vegan/vegetarian only restaurants here in Rhodes, which, I mean, for the size of Rhodes and the guests that we welcome every year, I think it's not enough. It's not nice not to have options. At the same time, because Greeks as well, they learn veganism, they are making steps forward. There are a few vegan options now in almost every single restaurant, Greek taverna that someone can enjoy. But sometimes they miss this twist. So don't expect a lot. At the same time, there are a few places that you can enjoy vegan options, nice cafe or desserts.
I have another question for you. This is something that was a conversation that I had with one of my last guests when we were talking about Greek islands. Fact that donkeys are often used as beasts of burden. We did talk about that a lot, but my question is that something that people see a lot of evidence of around? Are they taking people's bags? I'm guessing probably not in your hotel's case, but could you just give us a bit of a sense as to what people might see around themselves, apart from, of course, lots of dead animals in the form of meat?
Absolutely. In our hotel, we respect all sorts of animals and we are a pet friendly hotel. We did have some guests visiting us with their dogs, which we loved it. But coming to this unfortunate story of donkeys, and yes, we do have this here as well, like in Santorini, we do have donkeys carrying tourists and climbing steps, especially in Lindos, which is, as I said, a very touristic attraction. We have done a lot personally and like through some campaigns to inform not only the local authorities, but also the tourists that this is not acceptable. At the same time, the argument is that this is a tradition and all this. The most important thing is to educate the guests, the tourists themselves when they visit Rhodes. This is not something that it's fun or it's nice to do. So if they stop paying for this service, I'm pretty sure people here won't do it.
Yeah. The fact is that there's so many of these kinds of things around the world. Like in New York City, you'll see the horse carriage rides, and there's pretty much cases of this kind of thing all over the world. But of course, it's nice that some work is being done. And I agree, telling people about why this is a problem is a big key, although I'm sure most of your guests were probably not going to have a donkey ride anyway, but that's still interesting. All right. So, Giannis, this was so interesting to talk to you about your new hotel. I'm so excited for you and to see where this journey is going to take you. Listeners, make sure that you go and have a look at the show notes so that you can see all of the links to places that Giannis has shared with us today. Giannis, would you mind telling us how people might get in touch with you? make a booking. Maybe making a booking directly with you is even better, and your social media handles.
Yeah, thank you. So the best way to book a room is by our own website, GOJI We have presence on Facebook, GOJI Vegan Hotel, and obviously on Instagram. Drop us a message if you have a question, or even if you want to visit us just for dinner, please do so via either email or on our social media, and we will come back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, I love that. A lot of people think that if a restaurant is attached to a hotel and they're not staying there, you can't eat there. But very often these restaurants are open to the public too. And definitely it sounds like the place where you're going to get your best vegan meal whilst you're in Rhodes. That sounds wonderful. Giannis, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Bridie, for having me. And hopefully, we'll see you here in Rhodes and at Koji soon.
I would love it. Thank you.